Hey, what do you know? And today it's another day here on the Melbourne Live show. And today you ask me the questions and I will answer your questions. Okay. And I've got a special guest here today who insisted that
Night time, not daytime, you got it wrong.
she wants to be here. And so we have her here, and since we have her here, we might want to see what questions she has for me with regards to online courses.
No, it doesn't. We get my teeth. This is really much.
And so let's get on with our show itself. All right. And so today I want to answer all your questions about online courses, particularly in the area of whether you are looking at creating an online course before you if it's the first time you're creating an online course, and what are some of the questions that you may have. And so here's some common questions that I get asked a lot when it comes to creating online courses. So let's go through the question. So question number one, people like to know, can you actually make money from selling online courses? What do you think?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you definitely can make money from selling online courses, because as long as you have a passion as well as something that you are good at, you would be able to convert that, digitalize that into a form of learning program and teach people how to do that. Now, of course, you will need to look at it from a few ways, right? So, for example, one aspect of it is that you could potentially be looking at helping someone learn something as simple or as, you know, uh, something closer to a hobby like crocheting, for example.
What's closet?
It's like knitting. Yeah. So you can teach people that if you have the skills. What skills do you have?
Uh, let me think.
What are you good at?
I am good at drawing.
Drawing. Okay. So if you are good at drawing, then potentially you could put together an online course and teach other people how to draw. And that is something that it's absolutely feasible. Why? Because back in those days, before the time of the internet, you probably will need to be in a place where you are able to distribute your courses or to be able to teach people, and to be able to find people that you want to teach them to, right? But in those days itself, it may not necessary and always be possible. And so, that could prove to be quite a challenge. But these days on the internet, technically speaking, you could find anyone and everyone who may be interested in learning drawing, and that's where you could potentially teach them how to draw. Like, for example, I'm in the works of speaking to a company whereby I will be helping them to teach as well as to design a curriculum for 3D printing, right? So that's something that is in the works. If you want to find out more, make sure you drop me a comment or you leave me a message, and I'll be, more than glad to share with you a little bit more about that. Okay, so can you actually make money from selling online courses? The answer is yes, but you have to differentiate between what you are teaching people. Is it more of a hobby, or is it more of something that could help them make or save money, or get them to be able to look for a better job or to be able to keep that job? So if that it falls into that category itself, obviously you would be able to make some money from there. Now, of course, then the follow-up question is, are you able to make enough, right? I mean, we definitely can make money. $29 is also money, right? But can you make enough money to let's say, sustain a particular lifestyle or to be able to help you pay some bills, for example? Now, that is another question altogether. And in fact, I would say that that would be a better question. So the question is whether, creating or digitalizing your expertise, is that something that can be used to supplement or even replace some part of your income? All right. So that's something that you would want to know. And if if that is what you want to know, I can tell you for a fact that for me, for instance, these days, more than half of my income actually comes from the online space. And of course, when I say online, it involves both asynchronous as well as synchronous type of training. It includes delivering certain of my services via the internet, for example, right? And so, like for example, through this channel itself, potential for sponsorship and as well as for product endorsement, affiliate products, for example, those are highly possible. So definitely you can, but you will need a strategy to be able to do that. So that's question number one. Question number two is, you know, if you are a first time course creator and you don't already have an audience, do you think you would be able to succeed in selling your online course? What do you think?
Mm, maybe.
Maybe. Well, you are very optimistic. I like that.
Just optimistic.
Optimistic means that you are always looking at the brighter side of things. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so, as a first time course creator where you have no audience, you have no community, is there a possibility for you to actually be profitable when you sell an online course? And my answer would be yes. That say I need to qualify because unless you do it in such a way that it's strategic, you may not be able to get anyone to pay for your course. Now, so a few things that you have to take note here. Number one is that if you're coming from literally unknown, then what you would want to do is that there are a few options that you can choose. One, of course, is to find a place in the marketplace, right? Find a place in the marketplace, places like Udemy, for example, whereby you can potentially have people looking at your online courses even without a community, even without an existing audience. Why? Because those marketplaces are the place where people, any type of learners would actually go to that place to look for courses to learn from. Now, of course, that is one huge possibility for you. And in fact, I know a couple of people who actually went via that route and they were able to get some, students and learners who would pay them to learn something from them. So that's absolutely possible. But let's say if you're like me and you do not want to put your programs in the um, marketplace, then how could you do it? Right. So there are a few things that you want to do. One is, of course, the first place I would go to, it's good old social media. Why? Because that is the place where you can potentially reach out to a lot of people that could potentially become your learners. So it is there where you go through the what I call the 3-2-1 process itself, right? Every day you look for three people, you connect with at least two of them, and you dive into a deep conversation with at least one of them. And so in that process itself, what you really do is you get to know people, you get to value add, you get to add value to them, as well as you get a chance to actually speak with them and to find out if that's something that you are if that's something that they are willing and able to pay money to do that. So in my work itself, in fact, in my team itself, what we have been doing is we are looking for people who are able to teach things like data analytics. We're looking for people who are able to teach digital marketing, the, the 2020 way and above, as well as we want to be able to get people who are able to help design a better digital customer experience. So if you have that expertise and or you know someone who have that expertise and are ready and willing to look at the possibility of digitalizing their work, then let them connect with me or connect with me directly, because I want to speak with you, because we're looking for people who are able to train in those areas itself. Okay, and now let's go for question number three and our final question, right? So question number
Are you
three,
ending the video soon?
yes, I am.
Aw,
Right.
are you going to do some work after this?
Yes, I am. So you got to go to bed soon. It's
No.
way past your bedtime. All
What
right.
time is it?
It is time for a bed. All
No.
right. And so we go into question number three. And question number three is, how much money do I need to spend when creating an online course for the first time? And here's something that is a little tricky, right? Because I would say that, if you um, do not invest enough in terms of the equipment as well as the technology itself, the entire learning experience might be, suboptimal. And when it's suboptimal and it's not just, it's just not great an experience itself, that's going to cause people to want to, leave the course or not complete the course, for example. So as we know, many people actually do not complete the courses that they buy. Did you know that? A lot of people actually do not complete the courses that they buy for various reasons. One is because, this has become like, if I have the time, I will do it, or, it's something more of a hobby, not so much as work itself. And so that kind of creates a situation whereby these people are not self-motivated, they are not self-directed enough, and usually also coupled with the fact that there was very little support on the other end. And so it kind of accentuate the entire situation itself. So without a great learning experience, I think this is going to be really, really difficult. So what are some ways that you can actually get around that? And what are some minimum things that you must have? So there are a few things that you definitely must have. One, of course, is you must have a computer. Two is that you definitely need to have some way of connecting onto the internet. And C is that you gotta have some kind of a webcam, right? So because for me, I'm a little bit more advanced, so the webcam I'm using is actually a camera, but you can of course use the webcam that comes with your computer, or you can get one of those external webcam, which is fairly inexpensive, but it gives a better visual in that sense itself. So what I always tell people whenever they are not too ready to invest in a lot of equipment, and perhaps they might also have a budget issue when investing in too much equipment, the advice that I give them essentially is this, right? For the first time when you are, creating an online course, you might want to do a live session instead. Now, there are a few reasons. Number one is because speaking into a camera and not having the audience respond to you accordingly, that can sometimes really be a problem for some presenters and trainers, because they don't get that feed of the energy itself, and so over time you can see that the energy wanes, right? For me, because I'm so used to speaking into the camera and just imagining you on the other side nodding your head and agreeing with what I say and taking this all in. And so I'm used to that. I'm able to project a certain level of energy, and enthusiasm when I speak, even when I speak, right? So that it's how we are able to do that. But for the most part, for most people, they may have some kind of challenges trying to just speak into the camera and not have anyone to speak to, and that might be a little bit of a down, a bummer, right? So I always tell them that perhaps what you want to do is to do a live show. And when you do a live show, essentially, there are a few things. One is, of course, you can get instant feedback, and from there, you are better able to understand and see what are some of the concerns or what are some of the questions that people have. And so, with that itself, you can then, take that to another level whereby when you record your courses itself, you can then go deeper and a deeper dive into that, right? So minimally get a webcam, get a computer, and stop swinging your hair, and have a good internet connection and do a live session. And I think that is good to go. So if I can share with you, my first ever online training was actually done via Facebook Live to a secret group, right? Because so a secret group, it's only people who are invited, and then that they are able to join the group.
Was my Facebook account event?
You do not have a Facebook account
I
yet.
do.
Since when?
Yeah, my Facebook account is US for me.
Oh, there's your Facebook page. I see. Yeah. So those you
What's a
want.
Facebook page?
So your UX of me is the Facebook page. Okay.
Why does it have to be a Facebook page? I thought it's an account.
No, it's not because
Why?
you're too young to have a Facebook account.
Why?
So the Facebook page that you have is
It's for
actually
kids?
no, it's actually managed by me and mom, and so we adults we control it.
Not fair. Kids will not end up. Are you done?
I'm almost done. So
No,
that
make
it's
the session longer.
so that it's something that you can really consider for when you are doing the online course for the first time. All right. So with that, if
Wait. Can you make the session longer?
no, it doesn't have to be longer. All right.
Yes, it
So if you found this video to be useful, make sure you give the thumbs up. Give a thumbs up.
does.
Thumbs up.
Da.
Yes, give a thumbs up. All right. And
Da.
if you want more of such videos yourself, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so that every time I go live,
Have
you
you
get
belt?
notified.
Have
All right.
mommy belt?
I think so. I hope so. And so, next week, starting next week itself, there are a few things that we're going to be doing. Number one is that I'm going to be launching relaunching, in fact, my newsletter. So make sure
What's a
you keep.
newsletter?
So it's an email that I send out to all my email subscribers, telling them
Who are
about
your subscribers? Are they your friends?
some of them are some of them are people that I only know via the internet. Yeah, so I'm going to be relaunching my a newsletter. It's called Reinventing Learning because I believe that we are living in an unprecedented time. Change is going so fast, and we don't really know what's going to happen. Within the next year or so, let alone in the next few years. So the only way that we can really be able to succeed in this situation itself is to be able to learn all the skills that are needed.
Why on camera I always have a black white rectangle here?
Yeah, that's not nice to show people your teeth like that.
But I got my teeth. It's amazing.
Okay. So it's about really to be able to learn and to learn something complicated, learn it fast, and then to be able to apply it, to be able to practice and apply it, right? So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is that if you want to reach a goal, like building a 1 person, 1 million all digital business, you will want to reach a goal that you have never done before. Then obviously you would have to do things that you have never done before. But how would you know how to do those things? And that is where learning comes in, right? if you are able to learn the skills, learn the techniques, learn the strategies, and to be able to implement that, that's where you would be able to succeed. So the newsletter is going to be focusing on learning. There are essentially three things that I would talk about. So one, it's really talking about the mental model, the concepts of things. Number two, I'm going to be talking about the strategies, and number three, I'm going to be talking about productivity, the process itself, right? So if that kind of floats your boat, make sure you go
Float
to.
your boat.
That means if they are interested, go
Oh.
to
But why
Melvin
does it
dot.
have to be float your boat?
It's just a figure of speech. So go to
Like raining cats and dogs.
Yes, that's right. It's like raining cats and dogs. You are absolutely right. So
Wait. Can you make your session a bit longer?
it is long enough, Esther,
No.
right? So go to melvin.me, and that's where you will be able to subscribe. All right, and so and if you got any questions, feel free to drop me an email. I'll be more than glad to answer your questions. If not,
Hey, people just saw your password.
I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.